الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد. When a person comes into this life, the first thing comes to his or her mind when they begin wondering and thinking is the meaning of Alam al-Wujud, the world of existence. What is Alam al-Wujud? What we are doing here? What is our role here? What was our beginning? What is the ending is going to be? And from here, where are we going to head from here? Where is the final destination? These things that run in the mind of even some atheists, not necessarily believers or monotheists, even some atheists, they start asking about this. And then we have the prophets and the apostles coming and telling us that this is not the entire, what you are seeing and experiencing today is not the whole picture, is not the entire world of existence, Alam al-Wujud. This is part of it. You are experiencing only small part of it, very tiny little part of it. And there is another awalim. There are other worlds that surrounds you, but you can't see them, you can't feel them, and sometimes you don't communicate with them. And they tell us that maybe there are other inhabitants. Now those inhabitants are our own shape, similar to us, different from us. We really don't know. But they tell us that there are other inhabitants in this universe. So we are not the sole occupants of this world, but there are others who are sharing this place with us and sharing other spaces next to us. The answer for these questions is called what? For the questions that I just mentioned, the answer to them is called what? What part of knowledge, what part of science, what part of model discusses these things? Where do we discuss them?
Metaphysics.
It cannot be complete ghaib and seen. As a result of these questions, this model that we are studying now was developed. Irfan. And I would tell you the difference between it and philosophy. Irfan or ma'rifah. Ma'rifah. Ma'rifah and irfan. This science was developed to address these vast questions that runs in the mind of millions of people since hundreds of thousands of years. This is the irfan. Now, what is the difference? How did we, if you remember, without looking at your papers and your notes, last time, how did we identify or how did we define irfan? What did we say about it? What is it? Do you remember from last time? You can cheat and look at your notes. Your notes are very important, by the way. Very, very, very important. The Prophet, peace be upon him, told one of his companions, "Ista'in ala hifdhika biyaminik." He said to him, your memory might not be very sharp. You learn something today, you forget about it completely tomorrow. So use your hand. Use your hand means what? Use writings. Put it on a piece of paper. Really, this is my advice to you. Because you need to go back to it. You learn something today, 1 week later you completely, as if this is something alien, something you hear about it for the first time. So go back to your notes. What did we say about the definition of irfan? Al-irfan. What did we say? I know you are smart. We discussed this, a while ago. And we said it is, yeah? Recognition of what? The realities, recognition of the truth, discovering the truth in this universe. So this is what it's all about. How do we reach the truth and the reality?
Through ourselves.
Huh?
Through ourselves.
Through ourselves, but how? Is it through reading? Is it through an experiment in the lab? Huh? What did we say? It is? Huh? We said that, of course. No, this is the means to get to it. This is the means to reach to that point. But we defined al-irfan. We said, what is it? Huh? I know. It is the knowledge to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But through what? What mechanism?
Through the heart. Purification of the heart.
Exactly. It's an inner feeling. الشعور الوجداني. Conscientious feeling inside you. It's not something that you might see with your eyes, neither a voice that you hear with your ears. It is something deep, a conviction inside you. You develop a conviction. You say, I am sure that this happened. I am sure about this. Not necessarily you read it in a newspaper or a book. It's not a text. It's not something written. It is a feeling, an inner feeling, a deep feeling inside you. And therefore, ulama, they say, if we search for the universe and wujud, and remember, wujud is one of the key words used in this science, al-irfan, alamul wujud. They say that if we search for this wujud عن طريق الرؤية العينية or القلبية. قلبية. رؤية العينية is the physical vision. You discover things through your eyes. But the eyes sometimes goes wrong, does not give you the right answer. Sometimes in Hollywood they use, what they call them? These sort of deceptions, Special effects. So they deceive us. But they say we reach through الرؤية القلبية, the inner vision. And the Quran speaks about رؤية القلبية. Where? In what surah? Suratul Najm. ما كذب الفؤاد ما رأى. Allah says the fu'ad of the Prophet was taken to heaven and he saw, but he saw with his heart. And Allah says his heart did not go wrong. What he saw was the reality, the truth. But he saw it through his heart, not through his eyes. Big difference. Now, who is the one? Now, this is the name of the subject itself, al-irfan. The one who seeks this is called what? Al-arif. Al-arif. How does someone become arif? Is it difficult? Is it easy? Where do we go? What institution we go to? What sort of food we eat? What exercise we do? What is the way? Can I get some answers here? Research. Ta'atullah ta'ala, correct. What else? Na'am. Tafakkur, yes. Listen to one of the Urafa who says the way to get to this station, to this stage. He says, Al-Arifu man tabarra'a. Man yatabarra'u min al-mali wal-manal. Arif is someone who disavow himself, disown himself from two things. Dissociate himself, cut off himself from two things. From the mal and manal. Manal, the gains, worldly gains. Now he could have money, but what is the difference between him and someone who is not Arif? What is the difference between them? Both have money. Both have money. Huh? Exactly. Money for him is a vehicle. Money for him is not the end, not the goal, the means. This is the big difference, my friends. See, we cannot cheat on you and tell you that Quran criticizes money and says money is filthy, stay away from it. Actually, the Quran, when he speaks about money, he describes money as what? In certain verses, like Surah Al-Baqarah. And what else? Something even better than zina, more than ornament. He says what? أحسنتي وإنه لحب الخير لشديد. وإنه, man, when it comes to khair, goodness. Quran says money is goodness. Khair is goodness. But how we turn it into goodness, not evil. How do we do that? The same money, same amount of money. You have $1 million. How this $1 million becomes goodness, not an evil, not destruction, but construction.
Spend on the right causes.
Other than spending, before spending. It comes with here first. Before you spend the money, when we possess the money, it's not only in the bank account, by the way. It's not only in your pocket. It's here. It's here. You carry it with you. When you have money, it's always with you here. Even if the money is far from here, 10,000 miles away. But first, we carry it here. So, how do you deal with that money? You treat that money as what? As a vehicle, as means, not as the goal. It's not the goal. The goal in this life, not to make money. See, some people here in America, they say, go to good school, alaykum assalam. Study well, you make good money. Good money is not the end, it's not the final goal. Good life is the final goal. Good life. A life that I can pass through it to the akhirah. If that money enables me to do this, gets me safe to the akhirah, to the next station, successful and safe, then this is goodness. This is khair. كتب عليكم, Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كتب عليكم إذا حضر أحدكم الموت إن ترك خيرا. It has prescribed on you. If any of you, death comes to him, then he has to write, and he has wealth behind him, he has to write his will. Khair, Allah says, did not say mal, did not say money. He used the term what? Khairan. Khairan, goodness. Khairan. Allah refers to money as khair, goodness, if it is used in the right way. But if the money is used in a bad way, it is exactly the opposite of this. So the Al-Arif, the one who is not attached to this, he might have the money, but the money does not control him. Money does not control him. He might have the money, but what makes him, let's say he earns money. Earning the money would not make him happy as much as helping others is going to make him happy. if he can make with that money that he has, some people, he can bring some change into their life, some positive change, that action is going to make him happy. Not by merely having the money. أن يتبرأ من المال. Manal also, one example of manal. What is one example of manal in this life? Is the position. Position. They tell him, listen, you are the commander-in-chief of this, you are the mayor of this, you are the president of that, you are the leader of... He does not get attached to it. Imam Ali became one of the greatest leader of the humanity. Military commander, caliph. But that position did not make him arrogant. Actually, that position get him closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Closer to Allah. Any other person would obtain the same position, ruling over 50 states at that time. 50 different countries with different languages. And he was the leader. He was the military commander. But that position did not change him. It changed him in a positive way. Gets him closer to Allah. Because he said this is a responsibility. Some people, they obtain the position as a privilege. Imam Ali said this is not a privilege. This is a responsibility. I'm responsible. I'm worried actually. When you elected me to be your leader, you made me more worried. It's a big responsibility on my shoulder. So he could be a leader, but that leadership does not pull him down to the earth. It will take him up. So this is Al-Arifu man yatabarra. Imam Ali has a beautiful saying in Nahj al-Balagh. Ya dunya, Ya dunya, ghurri ghayri. Ghurri, deceive. Ya dunya, don't try to deceive me. You are not going to anywhere. You cannot deceive me. Try to deceive someone else. Ghurri ghayri. He would look at money, He would look at money. In the treasury house, the house is filled not with notes. Nowadays, the currency, the money is notes, Not gold and not silver. At that time, they were real gold and real silver. He would look at them and he says, Ya dunya ghurri ghayri. You cannot deceive me. You cannot change me. Because he knew that this money, if he uses that money for the right purpose, he's going to make it there successful. If a penny of that money is spent in the wrong place, on the wrong people, as his predecessors did before him, it's going to get him in a big trouble. Big trouble. This is a big responsibility. And therefore he would be joyful when he empties that house, and then he takes a brush and he brushes the floor. And then كان يصلي ركعتين لله تعالى. After the house, people when they fill the house with money, they pray. Imam Ali, when he empties the house, he would offer 2 units of prayers as a sign of appreciation and thanks to Allah. That this is off my shoulder. Alhamdulillah. I disposed this money for the right people. Allah enabled me. Allah enabled me. See? When we have the amana is something big. If you don't fulfill the amana to the rightful people, then you are in trouble. And the amana, sometimes the amana is money. Sometimes it's knowledge. Sometimes it's a political authority and power. People trusted you with their lives, with their possessions, with their security. Then you have to take care of that. It's a big responsibility. Some people, I see them, they fight for this. Sometimes, during the elections here in America, when I see the rivalry and the contest between the contenders, I would say to myself, do they know what they are contending for? This is a big responsibility. They are in charge of over 300 million people, their fate, their destiny, their economy, their health. Do they really know this, what they are talking about? Or no, they don't. Many people, they don't even realize. It's a big responsibility. So, now, how does he reach this stage, Al-Arif? How does he reach? He reaches this stage through something they call it in Irfan, Al-Kashf. Al-Kashf is what? Uncovering. Al-Kashf is to uncover. Uncover. Uncover what? Uncover what? There is something covered here. We have something covered. So he comes and he uncovers it. What is it that is being covered?
Truth.
The reality and the truth. Covered with what? With what? Do you know with what?
The fake nature.
Huh?
The fake nature of existence.
It's covered with sin. The sin covers the truth. When we sin, we are not going to see very good. We are going to see the wrong right. And we are going to see the right as being wrong. And this is exactly what Allah says in the Quran. كَلَّا بَرَّانَ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ مَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ كَلَّا إِنَّهُمْ عَنْ رَبِّهِمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ لَمَحْجُوبُونَ. They draw a curtain between themselves and God. They cannot see Him anymore. They create a layer of sins that they cannot see. It's shining, it's there. It's shining, but they can't see. They are blind through their sins. So He uncovers the truth. And then, wal-ishraq. Ishraq, this is, you're going to hear this term also a lot in this lesson. Al-ishraq. Ishraq means, the English translation is it is luminosity. Minosity. Luminosity. Yes? Al-ishraq. What is al-ishraq here? What do you think? Do you have a clue? What do we mean by ishraq? Yes?
We mean it's kind of like suruk.
Shuruq and ishraq, rising or illuminating. What? Ishraq of what? Luminosity of what?
The light of God.
Ahsanti, the light of God. The light of God is always shining. But sometimes we put a curtain. We say no to the light. We cover the light. We do cover the light from reaching us. We choose whether to use the light or turn it off. And my friends, if Allah's light does not penetrate your heart, you are over. Allah's light has to penetrate our hearts. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. In Surah An-Nur, chapter 24. Allah is the light of the heaven and the earth. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. مثل نوره كمصباح فيها مشكاة المشكاة في زجاجة الزجاجة كأنها كوكب دري يوقد من شجرة مباركة زيتونة لا شرقية ولا غربية يكاد زيتها يضيء ولو لم تمسسه نار نور على نور. And here in this verse there is a reference to Prophet Muhammad, to Amir al-Mu'mineen, to Fatimah al-Zahra, to Imamain al-Hasan wal-Husayn alayhim as-salam. As means, they are the means to get Allah's light to us. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. So we have to, and we will say how we can get this light into our hearts. Let me ask you this. At your house, at any house, if there is no light, can you live there? Can you live there in that house? Maybe for 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 night, 2 nights. But you cannot live anymore. There is totally dark. Imagine if we turn the lights off. Everything is off. You can't see, you can't function. The heart that lacks Allah's light, that heart is dysfunctional. Cannot do anything, believe me. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَجْعَلِ اللَّهُ لَهُ نُورًا فَمَا لَهُ مِن نُور. And that light is not provided to us by Edison Company. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَجْعَلِ اللَّهُ لَهُ نُورًا. He is the one who provides the light. It is His company that provides the power and the light to our hearts. And if He decides not to give the light, to deprive us from that light, فَمَا لَهُ مِن نُور. He cannot find light anywhere, total darkness. Total darkness. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَجْعَلِ اللَّهُ لَهُ نُورًا فَمَا لَهُ مِن نُور. Why do we find people nowadays committing atrocities, killing in cold blood, torturing, amputating other Muslims? Why? What is the reason for that? Because the heart does not have the light of Allah. The heart is dark. And when the heart is dark, you expect everything and anything to happen. Anything to happen. There is nothing forbidden. Nothing would be forbidden or outreach. Everything will be committed because that heart is completely dark. Completely dark. It is the light of Allah that makes us human beings. It is the light of Allah that makes you merciful and compassionate and thoughtful. It is the light of Allah that makes me feel sorry sometimes. When I abuse someone, I start feeling sorry. But if that light is not there, I would never feel sorry. I would never regret what I do to people because the heart is dark. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. Every single day is an opportunity for us to get close to Him. Every single day. Every single day. He has given us this life, 60 years, 70 years, maybe shorter, maybe longer. We have to make something that we get closer to Him and we receive His light. So, now, philosophers and hukama, there is a difference between a philosopher, al-faylasuf. Sometimes they call him hakim too, hakim also. Faylasuf or hakim. Philosopher or the sage, hakim. They reach the knowledge, the realities, they could reach them or they can understand what is going on, alamul wujud, around them. Through what? Through logic. Ahsanti. Through logic, through reasoning, بالعقل والمنطق, logic and reasoning, and the power of deduction, والاستدلال. Deduction, part of mantiq, logic, is deduction. Now, how does then the arif reaches this, the truth and the reality? Also through logic, reasoning, and deduction, or something else? Huh? Through what? Through al-ishraq. The spark. Many of those Urafa, they did not spend long years in schools. They did not spend long times researching or studying or preparing or revising. They didn't. They had a special button. They press that button, the spark comes to their mind, to their brain. Al-Ishraq. Allah, al-ilmu nurun. Remember, my friends, especially those of you who are students, especially those of you who are still students, and we all are students. Al-ilmu nurun. The hadith says, this is one of the most important hadith that you have to memorize. Al-ilmu nurun. Knowledge, knowledge is light. Al-ilm, what is the definition of ilm? What is ilm? Huh?
Understanding.
Understanding. What else? Discovery. What else? Knowledge. What else? Huh? What else? What else? You can define it. All these definitions are right. But the true one, the real definition, al-ilmu, light, nurun, a gift from Allah. Gift from Allah. يقذفه الله في قلب من يشاء. Allah will toss it. يقذفه. Will toss it in the heart of the one He likes. Many people, they spend 40 years studying, they get nowhere. And some people, they did not spend 4 days studying, but they got knowledge. It's a gift. It's a gift. Just like mercy and compassion, it's a gift from Allah. Just like sabr, patience, and tolerance. When we see two people, one of them is extremely patient, the other is extremely impatient. What is the difference between them? This guy, vegetarian, and that guy is, he eats meat, red meat? No, it's not the difference.
One's at peace.
Huh?
One has peace.
This is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A gift. The difference between them, that someone was entitled to receive this gift of patience, the other one was not entitled. And patience also, you are not born with patience. You don't inherit that from your parents. No. You work on it. You have to work on that. Yes, Amma. You have to work on that. It's a gift from Allah. The same thing, al-ilmu nurun. Allah will toss it in the heart of those that He loves. يقذفه الله في قلب من يشاء. So He reaches, the Hakim reaches al-ma'rifah and the discovery of the realities around him through al-ishraq. Now, you may ask me, how do we get to al-ishraq? And by the way, Muhammad, this is a school of philosophy, philosophical order and philosophical madhab and school, even outside Islam. Even outside Islam, and they call it falsafatul ishraq. Falsafatul ishraq, and it is Illuminism. Illuminism. Falsafatul ishraq. Even non-Muslims believe in that. Even non-Muslims. You may ask Catholics nowadays, how does this guy become a saint? Or you ask them, for instance, is the Pope, does he possesses a secret knowledge? They tell you yes. He see the vision. He received the vision. He received the order from God. So they believe. Now, whether this is right or wrong, we accept it, we reject it, that's a different issue. I'm not discussing that. But I say even they believe in this power. That someone, he might not be reading a book, but he receives the message from Allah. And there is a reference to this in the Quran. Where? Where is it in the Quran that they felt this message from Allah? Some special people, they felt this message coming from Allah. Message of guidance. At the time of turbulence, at the time of hesitation and distress and hopelessness, all of a sudden that message came to them. Huh? No, I'm talking about specific. Give me a specific example. She's a female. And her story is mentioned in chapter 28, Surah Al-Qasas. Huh? She was a female. At the time of distress, she really did not know what to do. Huh? Hajar. Yeah, Hajar, but more powerful, mentioned in the Quran.
Maryam.
Huh? وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ أَنْ أَرْضِعِيهِ. This mother, she really did not know how to protect her baby. Soldiers were running after her from door to door, from house to house. And she carried him. She did not know what to do. They are about to murder him, to kill him. They would kill, they say, on a single day, they would kill 1,000 baby on a single day. 1,000 baby. Still unborn, they come, they find out that this mother is pregnant. They open her tummy and they kill the baby. If they find out the baby male, they murder him immediately. Allah says, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ. We sent her this message. أَنْ أَرْضِعِيهِ فَإِذَا خِفْتِ عَلَيْهِ فَأَلْقِيهِ فِي الْيَمِّ. But not anyone is entitled to receive the message. You know why? Because sometimes you might receive the message, but you don't get it. You refuse it. You refuse to open it. Have you seen some envelopes? We get some envelopes and then we tear them and we put them in the recycle. We don't even open them. Some of us, we receive messages, but we choose to tear them up. And then we destroy them. We don't even open them. But she was able to open that envelope. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ أَنْ أَرْضِعِيهِ فَإِذَا خِفْتِ عَلَيْهِ فَأَلْقِيهِ فِي الْيَمِّ. If you fear for his safety, what do you do here?
Leave it to God.
No. Throw him where? Throw him into the sea, al-yam. Have you seen such guidance? I tell you, listen, if you fear for your baby, you don't want him to be hurt, throw him into the ocean here. You would tell me you are crazy. I know you are crazy. But she knew that this message is from Allah. She knew that this message is from Allah. Her heart was very strong. فَأَلْقِيهِ فِي الْيَمِّ وَلَا تَخَافِي وَلَا تَحْزَنِ. Don't fear, neither fear nor be sad. إِنَّا رَادُّوهُ إِلَيْكِ وَجَاعِلُوهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. We will bring him back to you safe. So these messages, they come to us sometimes. Now, what is the way to get to that message? Oh, Urafa, they say, وَالْإِشْرَاقُ مَرْحَلَةٌ يَصِلُ إِلَيْهَا الْإِنسَانِ بِالْمُجَاهَدَاتِ وَالرِّيَاضَاتِ. Al-Mujahadat, it is a stage that you reach it with what? Struggles. Against what? Your own desires. Your own desires. Struggles against your own desires. Bal-Mujahadat, Riyadat, spiritual exercises. Spiritual. We do almost every day, we do physical exercise. We do physical exercise. But how many of us is ready to do the spiritual exercise? What is the spirit? Give me an example of a spiritual exercise. Huh?
Stay mindful of God.
Spiritual exercise.
Resisting sin.
Resistance. Self-restraint. Self-restraint. I restrain myself. I don't need people to restrain me. I don't need people to tell me don't do this, don't say this. This is not a good gesture. This is not a good sentence. This is not a good move. I don't need people to tell me. Self-restraint. And why do we fast the whole month of Ramadan? To reach this stage. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. This is a way to get to this stage. I say to myself, this is not good for you, Mustafa. This is not good for you. Do not devalue yourself. God created you with honor. Don't do something that you devalue yourself. Don't create a distance between you and your Lord. Don't do that. Mujahadat and riyadat. Striving, struggling, resisting. The power of resistance. The more we have this power, the more we develop this power of resistance against the dunya, against the temptations. My friends, we are surrounded by millions of temptations every day. Believe me. Believe me. Look at yourself. From the moment you open your eyes in the morning, shaitan comes to you and he whispers to you about nothing but the dunya. But the gains in this dunya. He would never tell you, work for your akhirah. Maybe you are 10 years away from your akhirah, 20 years, maybe 1 year, maybe 1 month. Have you prepared yourself for the akhirah? He doesn't tell me. He tells me business, money, expansion, do this, do that. It's all about dunya. It's not about akhirah. Shaitan would not come to me and tell me, listen, there is only 5 more years left of your life. Work for the akhirah. You worked for 40 years for the dunya. These 5 years, 10 years, work for to have a good place there. He never tells me that. He puts my focus only on this lower life, on this temporary life. And this is why we live in disarray, in confusion. This is why people are sad, people are dissatisfied, because their focus is not on the akhirah. If people put focus on akhirah, they know that this life is fleeting. This life is passing very fast. They are guests here. Whether it is good or bad, they're going to vacate and leave. So, through mujahadat and riyadat, this is the way. This is the way. A story of a man, I think I mentioned it in one of my lectures, but it's good to repeat this story. Who was student of a seminary. And students of seminary are the most disfranchised people in the community. They go to a seminary, they don't give them money, they don't give them food, and they really survive on the minimum. Even now, I've seen some of them. Even now, year 2013. I'm not talking about 40 years ago or 60 years ago. Even now, some of them, they really survive on the minimum, just to build themselves. And believe me, this way of living builds them. Some people say, well, for 10 years I didn't eat good food. What a waste. No, it's not a waste. You are building yourself. You are building your character. Always eating good food and sleeping in the best bed and living in the best house and driving the fanciest car and having the best job and the best income, and this is sometimes dangerous. Sometimes dangerous. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. So this man who didn't have food to eat, he was really starving. So he borrowed some money to buy bread, not meat, not a sandwich from Subway, bread, just a bread, a loaf of bread for himself. As soon as he purchased this from the bakery, and he was about to put the first bite in his mouth in the morning, he saw a dog chasing him. And he realized that the dog is hungry. So rather than putting the bite in his mouth, he threw it to the dog. And the dog, he eats that. And then he comes back after him. Another bite. He didn't put it in his mouth. He threw it to him. And then the third one, the fourth one, until the loaf of bread was over. Then he noticed that the dog went to its, what they call the babies? Cubs? Huh? Puppies? He had 3 or 4 puppies. She had 3 or 4 puppies. And then she went to breastfeed them. They were waiting for the mother. The mother was very hungry. So he went without eating that day. He could not even afford to go buy and borrow some money or to get, another one, another loaf of bread. So he went home. And he was a student. God rewarded him for 2 things. One, he has to live in harsh conditions to learn something, to study something. It takes him a while to finish one book, one single book. That morning he woke up with knowledge, as if he has read the book itself. Although he did not read the whole book. He inherited, as if the book was transferred completely to his mind and his heart. This is one. And then, few months later, a man came from a village in a neighboring country, not his own country, neighboring country, bringing him surrah. Surrah in Arabic, when you put something in a piece of a cloth. Have you seen some people when they put, when they put something in the piece of the cloth, like this one, give me this one here. Give it to me. They put it here. Imagine, this is the surrah. You put this one and you grab it like that. You grab it. This is surrah. Bundle? Bundle? Yeah. A man came to him with a bundle. He said, I am carrying amana for you. Someone by the name of Fulan and Fulan, he died on such and such date. And he said, before his death, of course, he said, before my death, I want you to go to the city of Najaf, search for a student, his name is such and such, and give him this money. And the money was golden coins. Golden coins. He doesn't know such a man. He has not even been to that city. He hasn't been to that city. He doesn't know anyone in that city. So he examined the date where that man, the deceased, he decided to give this money to him, to send him the money. When he examined the date, he found out that date is exactly the date where he gave the bread, the loaf of a bread, to the dog, to the animal, several months ago. On that day, someone who lives in another country far away from him, at that time where there no internet, no emails, no text messaging, no phones, no whatever, someone decides on that day before his death, he's dying, and he decides that before I die, I will send some golden coins to someone who lives in a different country. Allah does not leave you alone. You think that I am depriving myself, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ. And Allah does not exaggerate. مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ. مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ. The weight of an atom that you cannot see with your eyes. If you do good, you find good. إِنْ أَحْسَنْتُمْ أَحْسَنْتُمْ لِأَنفُسِكُمْ. You do good in this life, you are doing for it yourself. وَإِنْ أَسَأْتُمْ. If you do bad, you are doing bad to yourself. Imam Ali, one day he said, I never did good to anyone. I never did anything good to anyone. They said, you didn't do good to anyone? Your life, you dedicated your life for others, doing good for others. He said, no. Don't you read the Quran? In ahsantum, ahsantum li'anfusikum. If we do good, in fact, it comes back to us. It is true that you are doing good to this and this and that. But at the end of the day, you're going to harvest that goodness. It comes back to you. In أحسنتم أحسنتم لأنفسكم. And if you do bad, if you insult someone, if you take away the money or anything of someone else, or the reputation, for instance, or the dignity of someone else, you put someone down, again, فَلَهَا. You are doing that to your disadvantage. To your disadvantage. Students who's starving, but yet he found an animal, dog. Nobody cares about animals. He decided to put this animal before himself. And see what Allah gave him. So it requires a lot of, and let me conclude in a couple of minutes, requires a lot of mujahadat and riyadat. And we can do that, believe me. Don't ever think that I live in America, materialism, capitalism, money, economy, demands. I need to live up to these standards because my friends and my colleagues and they are doing. I need to purchase this bag because everyone around me. I need to dress in this fashion. I need to buy this. I need to. These are all illusions, my friends. Believe me. These are all illusions. These are all illusions. Do not be deceived by these things. Don't. Never ever compare yourself to people. Never ever. Do not look at what people are doing. Don't. And then you want to do the same. This is an illusion. This is an illusion. One of the biggest mistakes we do is that I see my friend, my neighbor, my cousin, they are doing this. Why not me? He's doing that. He's achieving that. This is wrong. I should not compare. And this is what Allah says to the Prophet in the Quran. وَلَا تَمُدَّنَّ عَيْنَيْكَ. Listen to the very powerful. وَلَا تَمُدَّ. Do not stretch your eyes. Don't look. Don't even look. وَلَا تَمُدَّنَّ عَيْنَيْكَ إِلَى مَا مَتَّعْنَا بِهِ أَزْوَاجًا مِّنْهُمْ. We gave some luxury to some of them, some couples, أزواجا منهم زهرة الحياة الدنيا. This is for the attraction of this lower life, حياة الدنيا. لنفتنهم فيه. Actually, we gave it to them to test them, to put them to test. لنفتنهم فيه ورزق ربك خير وأبقى. Don't look at what people have. Look at what your Lord has in His hand. Look up to Him. Look up to Him. One of the scholars, he was really starving and he had a pregnant wife and he had no food at home. They came to him and they said to him, Sheikh Abdul Karim is the founder of the seminary of Qom. The Hawza in Qom, Hawza al-Ilmiya in Qom, was founded by Sheikh Abdul Karim al-Ha'iri. So they said to him, why don't you go to Sheikh Abdul Karim? He would give you some money to save your wife's life. She's pregnant, she needs to eat. He said, why should I go to Abdul Karim? I go to the Karim. I have a shortcut. Why should I go to the servant of the generous? I go to the generous himself. See the level of faith? We don't have this level of faith anymore, unfortunately. We don't have. You know the reason why? Because we live in a materialistic society. Wherever you turn your face, it's about dunya. It's about funfair. It's about entertainment. It's all about this dunya. Nobody reminds you of the akhirah. Nobody tells you, shakes you and tells you, listen, people are dying before you. Go to the cemeteries and see. We have to go onto this journey. We have to embark on this journey. There is no escape. We cannot run away from that. We see people being killed, or natural death every single day. Look at our own families. Can you count the people who died in your own family? A lot. Actually, this time I went to Qom. And I had some family living in Iran. And I went with my family, with my wife and my kids. And then I realized that last year when I came, and this year, we had several other new members who were buried in the same cemetery. Within 1 year, huh? And the core of my family are not in Iran, in Iraq. This is only small group of them in Iran. And they were buried. So I had to go from one grave into another. This is my cousin, this is my first cousin, this is my second cousin, this is my uncle. This is life. We have to go. We have to go one day, whether we like it or we don't. Abu Dhar al-Ghifari had a very beautiful, and I will conclude with that, beautiful saying. You know, people are afraid of death. Usually, most people are afraid of death. They don't want to die. Not only they don't want to die, but they are terrified when you speak about death and cemetery and, you know, burial and grave and this and that. And this is the truth. The Prophet said this. I mentioned this hadith 2 weeks ago. The Prophet said, ما رأيت شيئا فظيعا إلا ما رأيت منظرا فظيعا إلا والقبر أفظع منه. Whenever I see a terrible, horrible scene, I see it, then I see the grave being more horrible than that. The Prophet says. Nowadays we go to Rose Hill. What is the name of the cemetery? Rose Hill? Huh? Not Rose Bowl, definitely. Rose Hill, yes.
Westminster?
Many cemeteries, and one of them is Rose Hill, which has many, you know, locations. Very nice, like a nice park, you know, the trees and the grass and the sprinklers and the flowers. But who knows what is going on there? If we can hear, Amir al-Mu'mineen says, وَلَوْ أَنَّكُمْ عَايَنْتُمْ مَا قَدْ عَايَنَ مَنْ مَاتَ مِنْكُمْ لَجَزِعْتُمْ وَوَهَنْتُمْ. If you only experience what those who died before you experienced through their death and their burial, you cannot sleep the night. You would never be able to sleep the night. You would never be able to sleep the night. But we don't care. You know why we don't care? Because we are overwhelmed with what? With dunya. With dunya. With how to fill my stomach tonight, where to sleep, how to enjoy myself, you know, how to entertain the shell, not the core, the shell, the physical side, not the core. We are busy, we are overwhelmed with that. So Abu Dhar said to them, Abu Dhar al-Ghifari, one of the greatest companions of the Prophet, he said, do you know why you are afraid of death? They said, why? He said, لِأَنَّكُمْ خَرَّبْتُمُ الْآخِرَةَ وَعَمَّرْتُمْ الدُّنْيَا. For a simple fact, most of us, we are involved in this, believe me. We are implicated in this. We destroyed the akhirah, nothing left for the akhirah, no reserve, no saving for the akhirah. وَعَمَّرْتُمُ الدُّنْيَا. Focused on the dunya. This is why I know they are taking me to a terrible place. I did not prepare it for myself. We did not furnish that place. We did not install lights in that place. Of course, that place would be terrible. So we can do this here. All of you, the females and the males, and the youngest one, and the oldest one like me, we can do that. We can do that. We need a reminder every single day, my friends. Believe me, shaitan is so strong that the moment you leave this door here, you forget. I go sometimes to a cemetery for a burial of some young people. I've been here so many times for young people in their teens sometimes, you know, sometimes 20, 25. And then I see people how sad and distressed and then immediately after the burial, after the few minutes after the burial, they ask about the, NBA. What happened today? Who won the championship? They immediately after that, they engage in chatting and discussion about this life. This life. Immediately. And some of them, they smile and they laugh while they are standing there in the cemetery, on the grave. On the grave. Shaitan does not let me focus. As soon as we finish, we forget everything. But I am sure that among you, inshallah, all of you, on the right path, when you begin the journey. And don't say it's too late for me, neither too early nor too late. You came here tonight, those of you who are coming, Allah had a glance of mercy on you that He sent you here. You could have spent this night and these 2 hours somewhere else. Come in a movie theater or somewhere that takes you completely away from God. You had the option of doing that. But Allah wanted you to come here to remember that you have a role. And my friends, only the little has been left from our life, believe me. إنما أنت عدد أيام, Amir al-Mu'mineen says. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, oh man, you are composed of a number of days. He did not say a number of years. عدد أيام. You put these days next to each other, this is your life. I was telling the friends in the room, I came to this country exactly 20 years ago, 1993. And I remember every single detail of my arrival here. And if you ask me, Mustafa, is it really 20 years? I tell you, they say it is 20 years, but for me, I feel it is 2 years. 2 years ago. 2 years ago, not 20 years. How did these 20 years pass and I did not realize? This is the reality. Allah says this life is hayatud dunya. It goes by very quickly. Even at the time of death, after 80 years, 90 years, we say, what was it? Few days in this life. We really did not enjoy it. We still did not give us some time. Let's enjoy. I built a house. I need to see my grandchildren. I need to play with them. I have many things to do on the list. I have not finished them yet. This is what we're going to say to Israel. Each person is going to say, listen, I have many of my dreams and goals unfinished. Allow me to finish. وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى. The Quran says, يَوْمَ يَتَذَكَّرُ الْإِنسَانُ وَأَنَّى لَهُ الذِّكْرَى. In Surah Al-Fajr, remember this verse. Read it tonight. وَجِيءَ يَوْمَئِذٍ بِجَهَنَّمَ يَوْمَئِذٍ يَتَذَكَّرُ الْإِنسَانُ وَأَنَّى لَهُ الذِّكْرَى. يَتَذَكَّر means he regrets, but there is no benefit. There is no help when he regrets. Nothing regrets can do to him. Nothing. One day I was caught by a police officer. I was speeding as usual. So I said to him, sir, I'm sorry. He said, too late. Too late. I issued the citation. Too late. They're going to tell us this on the Day of Judgment. Too late. That's it. You have been sentenced. يَتَذَكَّرُ الْإِنسَانُ وَأَنَّى لَهُ الذِّكْرَى يَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي. He would say on that day, I wish, ya laytani, I wish, I hoped, I had hoped. قَدَّمْتُ لِحَيَاتِي. I had prepared myself for today, for this moment. فَيَوْمَئِذٍ لَا يُعَذِّبُ عَذَابَهُ أَحَدٌ وَلَا يُوثِقُ وَثَاقَهُ أَحَدٌ. On that day, nobody is going to be punished except him. He cannot say, take my lawyer, punish him, leave me alone. Or this is my father, or this is my husband. It wasn't me. This is my wife. They say you. وَلَا يُوثِقُ. Nobody is going to be handcuffed but him. صلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.